to ingest, let's say, a large volume of sales data into our Synapse SQL, which is our warehouse, right? And we want to be able to repeat this process efficiently for data load. So we want to be able to schedule it, let's say, or have it driven on demand when data lands. So often when we need to do this kind of orchestration, right, we want to be able to coordinate the movement accordingly, and we want to be able to transform the steps, etc., as we need to, and build that data flow and the data orchestration in this pipeline. So the first thing that we want to configure across the board is we want to be able to do this at scale. So to do that, we remember that SQL gives us the ability to create the workload groups that we talked about earlier, and that is actually a huge benefit to us. So we can actually take the workload group and configure it so that during this loading, we can designate users to run the load with the approximate resources. So when we need additional resources, we can take the cluster, and remember, we think about the cluster as the SQL pool as a pie, and we're dividing it, and we're giving a piece of the pie of resources to this workload. So we create that user group here, right? We will go ahead and create that user group. And then what we have to do is create a classifier, assign it the member name, right? This member name will be assigned the classifier here. So, and then the importance is high. So we set the importance. That is another thing that we can do with workload groups and classifiers. So let's go ahead and set that, because we want to be able to run this at scale efficiently. So let's go ahead and check the look at our views here. So what we're doing is looking at the workload management workload classifier view to make sure that we have our classifiers, etc., in here. So you can see there it is, heavy loader, big data load is the group name, right? And it has a high importance as we have set it. So this is great. So we can actually leverage this workload management, this workload classifier, when we're actually doing our in our data flow as we start building the pipeline. So let's go ahead and do that here. And this is the cool thing here that is really exciting for us to leverage. So let's go into our linked services first and check it regarding some details about the linked service to make sure that we're actually using the right SQL pool connection that can leverage that heavy loader classifier that we have specified over there. So let's look at the SQL 1 import here, right? And you can see that it is a connection that we are using to get to our Synapse SQL. This is our Synapse SQL qualified name. What we want to take a look at is this username here. It is the ASA SQL import 01, and we remember that in our workload group we actually have import 1 leverages the heavy load classifier. So this connection, the user has been added to the heavy load classifier, and that's the big advantage. We'll use the link services, so we'll use this link services in our new pipeline so that we can make sure that we reserve the proper resources when this runs. So let's actually go ahead and this is already saved, so we don't have to save it again. So let's go ahead and orchestrate a pipeline. So let's go ahead to our orchestration and go ahead and create, we can close this, we can just go ahead and create a new pipeline here. Right, we are in the orchestration tab. Go ahead and create a new pipeline. So here's our new pipeline. We can name it something. So we can say December sales 01. Right, so we will call it December sales 01. Let's do an underscore or something like that because we want to. So let's go ahead and call it that. And then now let's do some activities here. So the first thing that we want to do is copy data because we want to actually get the data from somewhere. So we can drag that copy activity in the general. You can